Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
We're sitting here in a very purple room.
It's not my favorite color.
Right at the corner of Chinkopin Round Road and George Street here in Annapolis at Maxed Out Fitness, which is a fairly new business right here in Annapolis. And we are here with Ashley and Joe Kahlo, who are the proprietors, the owners, and the incredibly fit two people that run this joint. So I'm a little bit intimidated coming in here, but...
no need to be.
No need to be.
But thank you very much for inviting me here and everything else. For those that aren't aware, it's the Cube Smart self-storage place.
Yeah,
Yes.
with a front retail space.
So it's the brick building that sits there, and it's a fairly new building. How did this all start? I mean, I guess obviously you guys are into fitness, okay? So that's the easy part.
Yes. I have been training in the Annapolis area for 24 years, 25 years-ish, 20 plus years. I trained at Merritt Athletic Club until they closed their doors in Annapolis, then went over to Premier at the time, turned into Foundation, ran their wellness and PT department until COVID when we opened Maxed Out.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you had this bright idea to open up a business in the middle of COVID?
Well, sort of. Sort of.
When the world changed.
Yeah, so by that time, she and I were together. I run a business consulting company called Anton J. Global and Built to Exit. And we help small to medium-sized businesses transition from mom and pop, I do it all, into how do I exit from the business, whether that's total time control and you're still getting paid but you own it, or whether that's exiting out of a business by a sale.
Okay.
Or even an ESOP, for instance.
Right.
Those kind of pieces. We help small to medium companies make that transition. So it's the industry I'm in. And so everybody had told Ashley, you got to go out on your own. Everybody she knew, the entire city of Annapolis had told her, you got to go out and start your own thing because you're so good at what you do.
I've got to imagine that in what you do is probably very similar to, I will say, female hairdressers. Because men are not really, I'll speak for myself. I'm not horribly. I do like my barber, but I'm not horribly loyal to him. But I know most females, my stylist moved to Montana. It's like, well, shit, I've got to get a plane ticket.
Yes.
So I imagine the fitness industry is probably very similar to that there's a lot of loyalty.
Very much so. All of my clients I consider family. They have my personal number. We talk regularly, even on their off days. Like I said, they are all family to me. You can attest to that.
I can, which runs afoul to me helping her transition from a small to medium-sized company that doesn't need her.
I just can't help myself.
Hopefully she got a discount. I don't know. So this doesn't appear to me to be a typical gym. Okay. I mean, it's not like Lifetime or Gold's or Pitmore Rec Center or anything like this. I mean, you are pretty much customized. I mean, I walked in and there's a trainer working with somebody, and we are actually, the purple room is in a chiropractor room. So how do you describe your business?
We are more a concierge service. Every person that walks in the door gets a full assessment, soup to nuts, almost like walking into a doctor's office. So I do intake, I check imbalances, strengths, weaknesses in the muscle, any injuries, ailments, illnesses, we go through that. I'm actually in touch with a lot of physical therapists because of my clients, and we assess their goals. We also have an in-body that tests their, not just their weight, but their interstitial fluids, muscle mass from left to right. Each one of your limbs, it will test. So I can figure out exactly what it is you need from me.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's really in depth.
It is. And then the gym's model is that it's private. And so you're not going to have anybody and everybody dropping in. It's a private gym. It's a membership. You swipe in and you have access to the gym 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Okay.
But you have to be working with a trainer toward your goals, toward your outcomes, once, twice, 3 times a week. It's up to you. Or in a boot camp setting. Either way, you join the gym, and once you join the gym, you have access 24 hours a day. You can come work out if you can't sleep at 2 a.m.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. That's cool. In personal training, to work, you got to find out what you need to do to work with the people.
Correct.
So what are, I guess, your services? I mean, you mentioned boot camp. So, I mean, I'm presuming you've got boot camps and you've got, you come in here whenever and you can lift weights and do your kettlebells and everything else. What are the services that you guys have?
So there's 3 ways you can join: one-on-one personal training, small group training, or boot camp. You can do unlimited, and we also offer a drop-in service, which a lot of our personal training clients use as their extra workouts. It's a $25 drop-in if you don't want to do the unlimited. And once you are enrolled in one of those programs, you have access to the facility with your membership key card.
Okay.
And I would add to that we fall in love with our clients' outcomes. So the first thing we ask is, what are you trying to do? Do you want to gain weight? In other words, muscle, or do you want to lose weight? Or do you want to build your stamina? Do you want to build yourself because you think you're going to go in the military and you want to build yourself? Are you a student athlete? What is it you're trying to accomplish? Do you want more flexibility? Do you want more mobility? Are you one of our senior clients that needs some sort of mobility and those kind of pieces? Are you healing from a heart attack? Or are you rehabbing an injury from a bicep?
We have a trainer that specializes in pre and postnatal as well.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
So we first ask that, and then that's what our trainers build your program around. So regardless of whether you're in small group, one-on-one, or boot camp, you're still working toward your personalized individual goal.
Okay, so the boot camp, like we'll just say if I sign up for a boot camp, I mean, is that necessarily, it's somewhat designed toward my specific.
It can be.
Right.
And when
I mean, obviously people have specifics in commonality,
absolutely.
if you will. I mean,
yes. But when you walk in the door, we still ask, is there anything we need to know? Any injuries, ailments, illnesses we need to know about, so we know how to modify the workout for them.
Right.
Okay, so then we're in here in a boot camp with a group of people, and you're like, okay, well, you had a Charlie horse last night. Okay, so let's just ease up on the legs or whatever it may be.
Yep.
Or let's work it harder.
Or you have a shoulder injury. I'm not going to have you do overhead presses or push-ups.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned senior clients. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm in that category. Don't laugh. You're not that
I almost
far
did too. That's why I laughed.
No, don't laugh. You'll be here sooner.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm a spring chicken.
But I mean, who is your client? Do you have a lot of senior clients?
Actually, yes, we do. Our oldest client has been 92 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Our youngest client has been 7. So we do all age ranges, shapes, sizes, all of the above. We welcome anybody that's willing to work.
And we've had people lose 80 pounds, 90 pounds. And we've had unbelievable success stories. It's so cool.
What are the goals of the most of your clients? Or I mean, I know you mentioned a whole bunch of different ones, Joe, but I mean, is it mostly weight loss and toning up? Is that probably the sweet spot, or?
Not really. Honestly, we have such a well-rounded, diverse client base that I couldn't say specifics. Mostly they just want to be in shape. They want to feel better about themselves. Now, whether that is moving forward in weight loss or adding muscle or just wanting to be able to feel comfortable in their own skin.
Okay. And in most cases, it's both. They put on a little bit of muscle, they tone a little while losing some weight, and then they feel better looking in the mirror.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and more importantly, they're healthier.
Exactly.
And it's really a lifespan. I mean, it's really a health span, not a lifespan, right? Because we can have a long lifespan, but if we live 20 of those years infirmed and uncomfortable, our body aches, it's not a health span. So we really look for that. How do we extend that health span?
Well, that makes sense. I mean, and everyone I've talked to is, I mean, you know, when you talk about fitness, okay, it's a combination of exercise and diet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we do offer nutritional service as well.
That was my question. Yep. I mean, and you know, as you seem to be very holistically focused on the in shape, quote unquote, and so you do have nutritional counseling.
We have two trainers that are certified in nutrition as well.
So when someone joins yours, I mean, you said it's a membership type of thing. So we can join for boot camps or we can join for personal training. But if we join for personal training, I mean, is that just the weights and the aerobics and the cardio?
Depends on how many times a week you're training. If you're training more than once a week, I will include nutrition services with that. And it's a great complement.
Okay. And I'm presuming this purple room is totally extra in case you, in case you need it for the chiropractor.
Yes.
Sure.
He is his own service, but he definitely services most of our client base.
Well, convenience, certainly. That's,
and we love him. He's wonderful.
He's wonderful. Yeah. And he blends really well with what we do, his beliefs and how he looks at the body and the mobility and the movement and all those. He blends really, really well.
Right.
And we'll even consult with Ash at times to say, hey, why don't we see if we can get some results by doing X, Y, and Z?
Yep.
And
okay. Yeah. So I mean, he sees something else in a leg or a spine or something like that he can turn around and say that, hey, let's tweak this in a month and see how we're doing.
Yep. Yeah. And we consult. He's here 2 days a week, so we consult regularly.
That's wild. Yeah. It really is a true concierge type of a situation. How does the process work when somebody wants to join here?
There's as long as you can get a hold of me, we're good. So typically,
or anybody, just walk in.
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't have to be me. On our website, we have an intake form. They'll fill out the form and it goes directly to our email. I'll call, we'll set up a consultation and go from there. I have a lot of people that just call me directly because my phone number is on the website.
Okay.
That's the primary way. And then really what Ash then does is then kind of sort and file. She finds the best trainer that we have that best fits the individual. So that postpartum mom usually goes with our trainer who's a prenatal and postnatal expert, for instance. We have different trainers with different expertises, and we allow that to kind of...
And all of our trainers have more than 3 years experience.
You come in, we do the initial consult, and is that the big soup to nuts evaluation that we talked about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then at that point, then you're laying out what your recommendation is for my goals.
Yes.
And it may be, okay, well, we just need you in once a week and we'll do this and maybe a boot camp every quarter.
Correct. Yeah. Or piece the puzzle together.
Yeah. Or it could be, okay, we want you in here 3 days a week and we're going to do boot camp every month.
Yep.
For that fourth day or whatever it may be. And then at that point, then we just sign up for that, whatever that membership is. And then we get our little key fob and
it's the end of it.
You do.
Coming in after hours, I mean, obviously you're not here 24/7.
Correct.
So that's just if I want to, work out on a off day, or if I missed a boot camp and I want to just come in and make up for it.
And we can be there or not be there. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a swipe card, you can use it. Yep. Yeah, we don't usually recommend them coming in during boot camps because it can get a little crowded in here.
Sure.
But
any other time, they'll be fine.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When somebody comes in and they get their evaluation and they say, okay, hey, what is the key thing that they need, your client needs to be a success?
They need to show up. Accountability is key. Even if it is 1 foot in front of the other, baby steps, they're still going to notice a difference. Just bending over and tie your shoe. The little things, make sure you show up because eventually you're going to see that change.
And I would say that Ash is the best at functional fitness. Like she really just looks at what you need in your life. Like she said, tie in your shoes. And we have clients that show up that can't.
Yeah.
And you learn to tie your shoes. You learn to carry your groceries in the house in so many ways because it's all functional fitness. It's not just about pretty. And it's one of the things that I loved about it.
I have a client that is 83 years old. She walks in with a walker, and her goal was just to be able to walk without a walker. And so far, she's doing 3 and 4 laps by herself now.
That's awesome. And again, you talked about the tie in the shoe. I had a friend of mine whose father was just extremely, extremely overweight, and he couldn't. And he went through a couple of the stomach stapling procedures and blew them off and ate his way out of them again and got to the point where he, couldn't do it. So, I mean, I get that that's very... that's got to be very somewhat demoralizing to be able to do it. I mean, even if you can't cross your leg and do it or something, there's other ways.
Yeah.
When you lose your ability to do things on your own, you lose your sense of self, and that's devastating.
Well, it is physically and mentally as well.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, you guys are very focused on the fitness and the well-being and the holistic aspect of that, and you can't turn around without seeing a commercial for Ozempic or Wegovy and all of that. What are your thoughts on some of these new miracle injections?
I think that there's a time and a place for everything. I think there are some people that really need these drugs. I do feel like there are people that are abusing it and don't necessarily need it. But the key thing is when you are on these drugs, you have to work out. Because with these drugs, you are almost blocking the ability to maintain muscle.
Okay.
So it is imperative that you get on some sort of muscle strength building program.
That's just walking around the block or whatever. I guess it might depend on who it is, but I mean,
Yeah, and walking around the block is a great start. At least we're moving. Right. But you're not really building any muscle
on it.
And so when the Ozempics and the Wegovy's, they block in the gut, you're not getting the nutrients you need to build the muscle. And so, and more importantly, or just as importantly, I guess, you're also not learning the skill set.
Correct.
You're not learning the habits, because whatever got you there still exists.
Yeah.
So you can lose the weight, but if you continue to eat, then you are now addicted to the drug because you can't come off of it. Because if you come off of it, the same habits will get you back to where you were.
Well, my doctor had told me, and we did a podcast with him specifically on that. And he's into some of the other. He's got he's got a number of patients on that. But I'm trying to think, what was it? The ketamine that he's using for depressions and stuff like that.
Sure.
That he's doing treatments. But we were talking about that, and he said the one thing that none of the Ozempic people really let people know when they get on it is that it's a lifetime commitment.
Yes.
It's not hey, I need to lose 60 pounds. Okay, well, I'll get 6 syringes at, $400 a pop and, hey, boom, I'm done.
Exactly.
But it could be if you started it and learned the skill set at the same time.
Well, actually, you're unlearning the skill set that you had, I guess.
And learning a new one,
Right.
replacing it.
That's exactly right.
And if you're doing that process, it can be a great tool for somebody that's really struggling to jumpstart.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, you've got to learn the proper way to eat, the proper way to exercise, so that you can maintain.
Well, it's also unfortunate that it's so expensive, but as with every drug
Yeah.
out there anymore, that you got to figure out how to do that.
Well, and the people that are on it, that when they start these programs, strength training, nutrition, and so on and so forth, like Joe said, you're setting yourself up for success. You're also going to notice a change much quicker than if you were just on the drug.
Yes,
Right.
We've had clients on the drug.
Yes.
It dropped rapidly while working out with us and working out whether they were working out with us or they were doing it at home or wherever. Mm-hmm. We've also seen people who have been on it and not losing significant weight just because they haven't changed their habits and they're not working out, but they're just taking the drug. So it's almost like they're spinning their tires.
Yeah.
They lose, they gain, they lose, they gain, they lose, they gain, and the whole time they're losing muscle.
We call it the Scooby-Doo.
And you don't realize how quickly you lose muscle. I mean, I tore my quadriceps in both knees at 2 different times.
My goodness.
And, after you've got the braces and you've got all the rehab and everything else. And, you get up and you look at your leg and it's like this little skinny little nub on the bottom of your hip. Mm-hmm. And you just don't realize how quickly it is until that you can lose the muscle mass.
Especially as you age.
Yeah. And it's more difficult to get in shape as the older you are and everything else as well. So it's living that life. So, but I saw on your website, and I will say that your website is maxedoutfs.com.
Yes.
What's FS?
Fitness Studio.
Fitness Studio. Okay. Maxedoutfs.com. And it's had events and stuff like that.
Yes.
On there. So what's that all about? I mean, okay, we've got the boot camps, we've got the personal training, we've got the senior training, we've got you said the prenatal.
Pre and
postnatal. What's the events?
Well, we actually do a bunch of events.
We have a charitable heart, the two of us.
Yes.
So that's where a lot of it's driven from.
We support a couple of foundations, local foundations in the area. Our closest event is our annual block party. It's on September 14th from 12 to 4. We usually have local vendors, food. We have a bar. We, in the past, have had a 40-foot bounce house obstacle course. Some of our local partners who are doing physical therapy, they do fun activities. We do demos. We have a client that has she's a dog trainer. She brings her dogs out and introduces the dogs to the community. We've had upwards of 350 people here at a time. It's always a fun event.
Tell them about the jewelry.
And that's September 14th, you said, right? From noon to
September
4?
14th, yes.
Okay. So that was a tease. Will we find out about the jewelry on the 14th?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I hope. Will we?
No, unfortunately, fortunately for them, they opened up a kiosk at Renfest, and they can't make it this year.
Oh, okay. But just the little girl.
We have a friend of mine has a little girl that has been dealing with a disease that she will unfortunately have to live with forever. She decided to raise money for her foundation, and so she makes bracelets for people, and the money that she gets for the bracelets goes to her foundation.
Nice.
And all of the vendors that come, we don't charge, we don't make any money, it's not about that. It's about the networking, and the vendors come and show what they do. The local businesses in Annapolis, they just show what they do. We show what we do. There's demonstrations, there's fun, there's sweet stories and cool, inspiring things and fun. And
Annapolis is a very giving town. The Anne Arundel County really is. And I think the business community is really very good. I mean, my background is that I don't have any room in my heart for the malls of the world or the Best Buys. And, I will call them out. I mean, yes, I know there are small businesses in the malls, and I certainly will talk to them. But as far as these large conglomerates that come in, I don't, because I believe all business in the community truly starts on Main Street. In this case, it may start on George Street or Jacob and Round Road.
Yeah.
But, it's the people like you, the people that have, risked a good portion of their assets to bring a service, to bring a business to life. And not many people realize that. And I mean, it's just so important that we, when we can support them. Okay. I mean, I cannot support personally, I can't support some gynecologist office. Okay. I mean, that's just, it's just not going to work. But, so when you can, it's so important to support the local businesses.
It is.
Because, as you just pointed out, Ashley, that local business is giving back to the local community as well.
That's exactly.
And, when I give, my membership here for, a month, you're taking a part of that and you're shopping at you're eating dinner at the restaurant down the road that's, you're tipping it to the server that's there. And it all comes around. And that's where really the community, the anchor is anchored to. So,
yeah.
And we, like Joe said, we absolutely love Annapolis. And if we can help in allowing Annapolis to thrive and building a better community and introducing new businesses and having the community grow and us being able to show that to our clientele in the local community by throwing these events, we absolutely will continue.
And the other side of the events is the give back side.
Yes.
And so the next event after that is our Halloween party, and our Halloween party is open to the public.
Yes.
And
does it get a little weird?
It does. And usually we have Smokehouse partners with us.
Oh, they're great.
And they're wonderful.
Jen and Steven.
Because it benefits the Bernie House.
Yeah.
So all the money goes to domestic violence. Every dime we make goes to domestic. We don't take anything.
See, you're naming all my favorite people, and Patty is awesome.
We love Patty and Dean.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so that benefits the Bernie House. On Thanksgiving, we have a huge workout, and she runs that. And me and the guys are out front. We're deep frying turkey so that we can deliver turkeys on Thanksgiving to the needy.
Oh, fun.
And so last year we delivered
15 families.
15
families.
15 families, and we're shooting for 30 this year.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Congratulations and thank you.
We need more pots.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I think I know what the answer, but I want to hear what you have to say. So why do I want to come into Maxed Out Fitness as opposed to like spending $9.99 a month at Planet Fitness? You both are purple.
That's true. We're a different purple. First and foremost is the concierge service. You are going to get a workout that is catered specifically to you. The second, I would absolutely say it's our community. You walk in the door and you feel like family. All of our trainers know every person that walks in the door. I know everybody by first and last name. I have everybody's phone number and everybody can contact me. Sometimes that gets a little overwhelming, but I still love it. We do happy hours with our clients. Our boot camps do regular outings together. We've had people find their person in their classes.
True.
And we've had some people make the best friends of their lives as well.
That's cool.
And you'll see that in a lot of our Google reviews. It's just like having a second family.
I would also add that not only, because it allows me to brag about my wife a little bit, but not only are we results driven and outcome driven. But I would add that Ash has won best gym, best trainer, and best boot camp 2 years running.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not just one. She won all 3 categories, and she won them for 2 years, 23 and 24. It's pretty cool. So
it took you like a year and a half to get up to winning it 2 years in a row.
Correct.
Well done.
Now we don't want to let it go.
Well done. Well done. Part of the aspect of getting, in shape or losing weight or whatever your goal is to do it with, as you mentioned, Joe, the accountability, but the supervision as well.
Yeah. And the support system.
And that's what I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, Ash talks about the connectivity, and it's wonderful. Our community is unbelievable. And if you ask me that question, my first answer would be results. My first answer would be absolute results. I have watched, if what you've always done hasn't got you where you want to go, joining another Planet Hollow, changing the location doesn't do it either. Okay. So what you get here is a different level of service, and therefore you get a different outcome.
Makes sense to me. Now, how many members do you have? I mean, I know it probably fluctuates. I mean, are we talking in the hundreds, or are we talking?
Oh, absolutely hundreds.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I would say.
But not thousands like most gyms.
Right.
We don't want that.
Right. So, I mean, you've got a fairly small space. So, I mean, typically is there usually another member here working with somebody else? I mean, do the members feed off of each other, I guess is where I'm going with that.
They do.
Certainly in boot camp, I would imagine they do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have 4 trainers. We've had 5 at one point, all working with 1 to 2 clients at the same time. We work very well together. We get out of each other's way pretty quickly. Right. So, and we complement each other. So,
and because they're so experienced, all the trainers are so experienced, they know how to move throughout the gym. And if something's taken, they know how to put an exercise in that's different that will hit.
It's going to fit in that corner or whatever it may be there as well. Wow, this is I guess for the folks that are listening that want to get started in a fitness journey, and you can define that as any number of ways that you want. I mean, what is the best way? I mean, you said just show up.
Call, email, or show up.
Right. Honestly, I think the best way is going to the website, filling out the intake form, because it gives me a little bit before I call, so I know how to start the conversation.
Okay.
I love our intake. It asks where you found out about us. It asks what you're looking for, so it already gives me the goals, so I know how to move forward.
Okay. And as we start to wrap up, just not looking to steal any business from you, but if somebody did not want to come into a gym thing, what is just a great exercise for somebody for just general fitness to do at home? I mean, we mentioned like walking around the block, at least it's moving or something like that. Just, is there something that you say, oh, this is just always a great, and maybe it's your client that's going on a 3-week vacation that's not going to have access to a gym.
Well, the good thing about that is we also do virtual training. Just because you're on vacation from work.
You can call up Ashley and she'll yell at you from 1,000 miles away.
We do virtual. So we have a platform that we can Zoom or FaceTime. I have clients that are all over the U.S. that I work with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've had clients move.
Texas, Florida.
Majority. I've got 6 in Florida. I've got 2 in South Carolina.
How do you do that? I mean, you've got the equipment here.
I need about 6 feet of space, and I can pretty much make you cry with just your own body. Wow, not that I want you to cry.
She is little, but she is fierce and mighty.
Okay. All right. So you are retired Army?
Not retired. I did my term, and then.
Okay, so you're.
Yep, I was a counterintelligence agent. That's what brought me to Fort Meade.
Okay.
And I grew up in just outside of Newport in a town called Narragansett, Rhode Island. So I left a Navy town, moved to a Navy town, and joined the Army.
Okay, that makes sense. But so is she the Marine in this business here? Is the one that
maybe drill sergeant?
Drill sergeant. Yeah, that's funny.
Joe. I mean, you said you were in the Army and living in a Navy town. Obviously you had a fitness regimen when you were. In the Army, stuff like that. But you're presuming that you're working out here with Ashley or some of the other trainers. So. I mean, how does it differ from?
Not only is she my wife, she's my trainer. So it's interesting. My physical fitness journey has been quite the long one because I'm a natural ectomorph. And what I mean by that is if left to my own devices, I'm skinny as a rail. My mom tells a story about going to buy me pants for Christmas, and the guy asked her if she was dressing a flagpole after giving him my size. I had a hard time doing 13 push-ups to get into the Army. I had to train and train and train, and it was hard.
Wow.
It has been a lifelong, I'm 53 now, it's been a lifelong journey for me to continue to put on size and muscle. And it's changed over the years. I tried literally everything. If I don't eat a ton, it just falls off of me. So fortunately now it stays on a little better as I've gotten older, and I've tried everything from CrossFit to personal training to other trainers. Ash does a variable interval. What's the word you use?
High intensity variable interval training. It's cardiovascular with strength training, and in different modalities and different planes, I guess.
Sure.
So you are having to do strength training workouts while also getting your heart rate up quickly.
Okay.
Which coincidentally is very similar to the military. Right. Because that's what you need to be able to do. You know, like they say in the military, you should be able to run flat out for a mile and still fight when you get there.
Right.
And so by training with Ash, she has mixed those things. She understands my body type. She feeds me appropriately and tells me what to eat appropriately. And so I am now I'm less than 10% body fat. In 240 to 230 range, depending on where I am, less than 10% body fat. And I now keep the muscle on. I've transformed because of what she's taught me.
And then, and you're not the senior crowd, and you're not the neo and postnatal crowd,
I'm close, but I'm not there yet.
I mean, that's wild that you guys work with so many varied people. I mean, you mentioned 7
years old. Yep.
7 years old to 90 some odd years old. So this is not just, for seniors. It's not just for women coming from pre or postnatal. It's an opportunity for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She gets a lot of student athletes too.
Yep. Yeah, we got that. And I've got the younger kids are usually, unfortunately, we've got social media, we've got phones, we've got tablets, the digital babysitter, if you will.
We have 3 teenagers, if you can't tell.
Right. So getting them away from screen time and trying to get them active is really tough. So I've had a lot of parents come to me and say, can we do anything to get him off the couch, please?
Yeah. Change the password.
Yeah. So great. We have such a good range of clients, abilities, weight, the whole 9 yards. We cater to anybody and everybody.
What's the popular student athlete sport that you're working with?
Honestly,
is that the Lax Bros?
I would say hockey, lacrosse, and soccer.
Okay.
Those are my 3 top. I get a few football. But really it's soccer, lacrosse, and hockey. Yeah.
So, and I guess, I mean, how do your trainers work? I mean, I've talked to some people too that have said, I want to do this, but I don't want to. I mean, I had a friend of mine that went to Pilates, and they were all like really, just really drill sergeant-y, if you will, stereotypical. It's like, I don't do well with somebody yelling at me.
Yes.
And
not, we say all of this jokingly. We're not actually, we don't yell at all.
Right. I mean, you're not going to, one more,
No, we motivate, we cheer you on the whole time.
Right.
Like I said, all of our trainers are very well-rounded, not just in physical, but they know how to talk to people.
MaxedOutFS.com is where you want to go. You want to come in and say hello to Ashley or Joe Kahlo. And September 14th, if you don't want to check them out before then, September 14th would be a good time to come out for the annual block party. I don't know how much exercise is going to be happening that day, but you can certainly get a look at.
We'll have a little. I've got some surprises in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, you can certainly check out the studio. You can check out, meet Ashley and Joe and the rest of the trainers and see what it's all about. It's kind of a hidden place. I mean, it's, you don't really know that it's right here, but it's very convenient. And actually here in the design district, there's an awful lot of good street parking, which a lot of people don't realize. It's not very difficult to find parking. So
not difficult at all. And we have access to the Cube Smart
parking lot as well.
There's over 30 spaces back there.
Fantastic.
So there are street parking, and then we also have that.
Fantastic. Well, maxedoutfs.com, Maxed Out Fitness, and Ashley and Joe Kahlo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We can't wait to meet you.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.